Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and really dig into them for the most fascinating insights. Today, we're not just, recapping a story. We're diving deep into this huge collection of material.
That's quite something.
It's a really gripping account of a magical war's final desperate phase. And our goal is to uncover the surprising truths, the profound choices hidden in that epic ending.
Absolutely.
So our mission here is to navigate the chaos, try to unravel the prophecies, and explore these astonishing, sometimes really painful revelations that define the ultimate showdown.
It's going to be intense.
Yeah, prepare for a journey packed with heart-wrenching sacrifices and these incredible decisions that just changed everything, irrevocably.
And what's so fascinating, I think, is how even with these massive, existential stakes,
Right.
the story keeps coming back to the human core.
Yeah.
Individual choices, these unexpected alliances, and just the quiet strength of personal conviction.
It's a real testament to, agency when everything feels overwhelming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Power in the face of, overwhelming odds.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We pick up with our main characters. They're feeling pretty good after a big win, right? A moment of optimism.
Yeah, almost giddy, you could say. They've just destroyed one Horcrux, reunited with Ron. There's this fleeting sense of, okay, maybe we can do this.
But it doesn't last long. This calm is just shattered almost immediately.
Instantly, by this chilling revelation about the taboo.
The taboo on Voldemort's name.
Exactly, and it's not just superstition, not just fear. It's a terrifying magical tracking device.
So saying the name actually breaks protective enchantments.
Shatters them. Yeah, it turns language itself into a weapon against them. It forces them even deeper underground, adds this whole other layer of isolation and paranoia.
Wow, that's insidious.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
how they get found on Tottenham Court Road, how Kingsley nearly gets caught.
Yeah.
It's this subtle, pervasive control.
And right in the middle of this vulnerability, this mysterious Patronus shows up, the Silver Doe.
Yes, which is just this beautiful, startling moment of light in the darkness.
It's so full of mystery and hope, I guess, but raises huge questions. Who sent it? What does it mean?
Totally. They debate it, could it be Kingsley?
Yeah.
But his is a lynx.
Right.
Could it possibly be Dumbledore?
Right.
But that seems impossible. His was a phoenix, and he's gone.
So it just highlights how desperate they are for some kind of sign, some guidance.
Desperately, yeah.
Yeah.
A plea for help in this increasingly bleak world.
Okay, so this deep dive gets really interesting when they decide to seek out this rather peculiar character, Xenophilius Lovegood, known for his eccentric beliefs.
Right, Luna's father. They hope he might have some answers, maybe about symbols Dumbledore left behind.
But the visit doesn't go as planned. It unravels pretty quickly.
Oh, completely. Initially, he seems like this supportive figure, championing Harry, talking about the importance of helping him.
But that's not his real motive.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's chilling, actually. He's desperate. He plans to trade Harry to the Death Eaters
What?
to get his daughter Luna back. She'd been kidnapped because of his subversive writings in the Quibbler.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy betrayal.
It's brutal. And it's this stark, painful reminder of how far people, even seemingly good people, might go when their loved ones are threatened. It kind of mirrors other sacrifices in the story, but in this really dark, twisted way.
And it's there amidst all that tension and betrayal that they finally learn about the Deathly Hallows.
Yes, finally. He tells them the tale of the three brothers, but presents it not just as a fairy tale.
But as real objects.
Real objects. The Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. Unite them, he says, and you become the Master of Death.
And as soon as Xenophilius finishes the story, something just clicks for Harry, right? A huge realization.
A massive aha moment.
Are you-
It all suddenly makes sense to him.
How so?
He realizes his own invisibility cloak, the one passed down from his father. It's the Hallow,
The actual one from the legend.
the actual one. Unique, truly makes you invisible, lasts forever. And he remembers Dumbledore examining it years ago.
Okay. What else?
He figures out the Resurrection Stone must be hidden inside the Golden Snitch. Dumbledore left him. The one with the inscription, I open at the close.
Cryptic.
Very. And maybe most crucially, he connects the dots about Voldemort.
Voldemort's after the Elder One, too.
Yes, but Harry realizes Voldemort only sees it as a super powerful weapon. He has no idea it's one of the Hallows, part of this bigger, deeper magic.
So they're chasing the same object, but for totally different reasons, with completely different understanding.
Exactly. One wants conquest, the other is starting to see this existential puzzle about life, death, and power.
But Hermione, she's not buying the Hallows story, is she? Even with Harry's realizations.
No, she dismisses it pretty firmly.
How
They're nonsense.
Why?
She insists they stick to the original plan.
Yeah.
Destroy the Horcruxes. That was Dumbledore's clear instruction. It's this really interesting conflict. Dumbledore's plan versus this alluring, mythical Hallows quest. Duty versus destiny, maybe?
So how do they get out of Lovegood's house? Because the Death Eaters do show up, right?
Yeah, they do. The escape is pure chaos, but pretty smart. Hermione uses Deprimo, this charm that just blasts a huge hole in the floor.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they apparate out just as the Death Eaters are breaking in. A very close call.
Okay, so they escape that, but the danger just ramps right back up. They get caught.
Almost immediately. That heightened vulnerability, maybe the lingering effects of the taboo earlier, they run right into snatchers.
The bounty hunter types.
Yeah, specialized trackers. It's incredibly tense. Hermione uses a stinging jinx on Harry's face to try and disguise him.
Does it work?
Sort of. They don't recognize Harry immediately, but they do recognize Hermione.
Oh no.
Yeah, they identify her as Granger, the mudblood traveling with Harry Potter. And worse, they find the Sword of Gryffindor on them.
Which raises all sorts of red flags.
Big time. Suddenly they're high-value prisoners. And crucially, during all this, Harry's scar.
It's acting up again, giving him visions.
User-sharp visions. He sees right into Voldemort's mind, sees his thoughts, his location. He knows Voldemort is using Malfoy Manor as his base.
Malfoy Manor, that grim, forbidding place. So this terrible capture actually gives them vital intel.
Terrifying double-edged sword, yeah. Or, well, a double-edged scar, I guess.
Which leads them directly into the Lion's Den, Malfoy Manor, and a brutal interrogation.
One of the worst scenes.
Yeah.
Inside the manor, you see the true depths of the Death Eater's cruelty. Bellatrix Lestrange leads the interrogation.
Is there any hesitation from the Malfoys? Draco's there, right?
There is a flicker. Draco seems reluctant to identify Harry, even with the distorted face. A tiny moment of something conflicted. But Bellatrix takes charge.
And she's focused on the sword and a vault.
Yes, Gryffindor's sword in her Gringotts vault. She's convinced they stole something from there, and she tortures Hermione for information.
It's horrific.
The screams are just terrible. But then, amidst all that terror, Dobby arrives.
Dobby the house elf.
Our beloved Dobby. He makes this incredibly heroic appearance, apparating some of the prisoners out, then coming back for Harry and the others.
But it costs him everything.
He gets them out, but Bellatrix throws her knife as they disapparate, and it hits him. He dies in Harry's arms on the beach.
Oh, Dobby. His last words.
Harry Potter. Just simple. But it sums up his whole life, doesn't it? His fight for freedom, his loyalty. Utterly heartbreaking.
After that profound loss, they need somewhere safe. They find refuge.
They do. They arrive at Shell Cottage, Bill and Fleur's place by the sea. It's protected by the Fidelius charm, so it's truly hidden, truly safe.
Oh, sanctuary.
A much-needed one. And while they're there, grieving and regrouping, they hear something vital.
What's that?
They manage to tune into Potter Watch, the underground radio broadcast run by Lee Jordan and others in the Resistance.
Ah, that secret broadcast.
Yeah. Hearing those familiar voices, knowing people are still fighting, still resisting. Harry describes it as an extraordinary tonic. It reminds them they aren't alone. It shores up their spirits.
Which they desperately need for what comes next. The Gringotts heist.
The core of their new strategy. A Horcrux is likely in Bellatrix's vault. But getting into Gringotts? That's considered impossible.
So they need help. Specialized help. From two very different magical experts.
Exactly. First, they talk to Griphook, the goblin they rescued from Malfoy Manor. He used to work at Gringotts.
But that conversation gets tense fast, right? Goblin wizard history.
Immediately tense. Griphook airs these deep-seated historical grievances. He claims the Sword of Gryffindor wasn't Gryffindor's to begin with, that it was goblin-made and essentially stolen.
Wow. Okay.
And he demands the sword as payment for helping them break into the vault.
That puts him in a really tough spot, morally and strategically.
Huge dilemma. They have to agree, but it's a compromise that feels uneasy. It really highlights the complexities, the old wounds in their world.
And the second expert, Ollivander, the wand maker.
Yes, also rescued from the manor, but terribly weakened by torture. They need information about the Elder Wand.
What does he tell them?
He confirms it exists, its bloody history, how its allegiance changes hands not by inheritance but by conquest, by defeating the previous owner.
So whoever beat Dumbledore now controls the wand.
That's the logic, yes. But interestingly, Ollivander, the expert on wands, he has no idea about the Deathly Hallows as a concept. He's just like, Deathly Hallows, never heard of them.
Really? So even to him, they're just myth.
Just myth. Which reinforces how deep this secret goes and maybe how focused people are on their own areas of expertise.
So connecting these dots, goblin help, wand lore, how does this shape their plan for Gringotts? It sounds insanely dangerous.
It is. The plan is incredibly elaborate. They use Polyjuice Potion for Hermione to become Bellatrix.
Using one of Bellatrix's hairs they found.
Exactly. Ron's disguise, too. Harry's under the invisibility cloak with Griphook. They use Bellatrix's captured wand. But the bank's defenses are insane.
Like what?
Well, first there are these probity probes that detect spells and concealments. To get past a guard, Hermione has to cast the Imperious Curse.
An unforgivable curse.
For the first time. She describes this curious sensation of control, it's quite unsettling. Then disaster strikes with the Thief's Downfall, a magical waterfall that washes away all enchantments and disguises. Suddenly, they're exposed.
Oh, God. And there's a dragon.
A blind, tortured dragon guarding the deep vaults. They have to use these horrible clankers that cause it pain to make it move aside. It's grim.
And inside Bellatrix's vault itself, more traps.
Oh, yeah. Items multiply endlessly when touched, and they burn searing hot. Gemino and Flagranti curses absolute chaos.
But they get it, the Horcrux, Hufflepuff's cup.
They do. Harry spots it, Griphook snatches it for them, but then Griphook betrays him.
Of course, he takes the sword and abandons them.
Takes the sword, yells, "Thieves!" and runs, leaving them trapped. They only escape by freeing the dragon and riding it out of the bank.
Riding a dragon out of Gringotts. Okay, that's quite an exit.
Definitely memorable.
And this theft, it doesn't just get them a Horcrux, it sends Voldemort into a tailspin.
Immediately. Harry's scar burns intensely. He sees into Voldemort's mind again, pure, explosive rage and panic. A scream of rage, of denial.
He realizes they know about the Horcruxes and are hunting them.
Yes. He realizes the cup is gone. It's an unprecedented breach. And his reaction is pure fear. He decides he has to check on his other hidden Horcruxes immediately.
Which tells Harry exactly where they are, or where Voldemort thinks they are.
Precisely. It sets up the final race against time. Voldemort's going to check the cave, the shack, and Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, so that's where they have to go. But getting there isn't easy now.
Not at all. Hogsmeade, the village nearby, is crawling with Death Eaters. They apparate in, but immediately set off a caterwauling charm.
Like an alarm.
Yeah, alerts everyone to their presence.
Yeah.
Apparition out is blocked, and then Dementors descend.
Oh, great. More Dementors.
Harry has to cast a Patronus to drive them off, but doing so basically announces, Harry Potter is here.
So they're cornered, but then unexpected help arrives.
Just when it looks hopeless. The barman from the Hogshead pub pulls them inside. Aberforth Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's brother, who seemed so gruff before.
Exactly, and he reveals this shocking, painful family history.
The story about their sister, Ariana.
Yes. How she was tragically killed, possibly accidentally, during this three-way duel between a young Albus Dumbledore, Aberforth, and the dark wizard Grindelwald.
He doesn't even know who cast the fatal spell.
No. I don't know which of us did it. She was dead. It completely recontextualizes Albus Dumbledore. Shows the weight he carried, the remorse. Aberforth is deeply cynical because of it.
But Harry doesn't give in to that cynicism.
No, it's a powerful moment. Aberforth basically tells him the cause is lost, Dumbledore's plans were flawed. But Harry stands firm. He says, I'm going to keep fighting even if you've given up. He chooses conviction, sets the moral compass.
And Aberforth helps them get into the castle.
He does. Reveals a secret passage behind Ariana's portrait that leads directly into Hogwarts.
Into the Room of Requirement.
Right into the Room of Requirement, which has become this amazing hidden sanctuary for the students still resisting Snape and the Carrows. Neville Longbottom's leading them.
The room adapts to their needs.
Amazingly so. It provides hammocks, bathrooms, food, via the passage to the Hogshead. It's a symbol of the school's own magic fighting back.
So inside Hogwarts now, the next Horcrux. Ravenclaw's diadem.
Yes, the lost diadem. Harry needs to figure out where it's hidden. He uses that connection to Voldemort again.
Voldemort's checking his hiding places.
Including thinking about where he hid the diadem at Hogwarts years ago. Harry sees it. The Room of Hidden Things.
The version of the Room of Requirement crammed with centuries of lost stuff.
The ultimate hiding place. Meanwhile, the teachers are preparing for battle.
McGonagall steps up.
Massively. She rallies the other heads of house. They cast powerful protective enchantments around the castle. It's an incredible display of courage and magic.
And then Snape makes an appearance, the current headmaster.
Yes. He confronts McGonagall, but she, Flitwick, and Sprout duel him together. He's forced to flee.
He escapes?
Flies out a window, literally, shattering any lingering doubt among the students and staff about whose side he was really on. At least that's how it looks to them.
Then comes Voldemort's ultimatum, broadcast into the Great Hall.
His chilling voice echoes everywhere. Give me Harry Potter, and none shall be harmed.
And someone actually tries to hand Harry over.
A terrifying moment. Pansy Parkinson from Slytherin screams, "But he's there! Someone grab him!"
Ooh, but the others.
The other three houses, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, stand up as one. They turn on Parkinson, shielding Harry, a powerful symbol of unity against fear and betrayal.
So the battle begins, and the Horcrux hunt continues amidst the chaos.
Frantically, Harry, Ron, and Hermione race to the Room of Hidden Things for the diadem. They run into Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle there.
And Crabbe uses that dangerous cursed fire.
Green fire, yeah. He loses control of it. It destroys everything, including, accidentally, the diadem Horcrux.
Wow, so one Horcrux down, accidentally. What about the cup?
Ron has a brilliant idea. He remembers the basilisk fangs from the Chamber of Secrets can destroy Horcruxes. He and Hermione go back down there.
They speak Parseltongue to open it.
Ron mimics Harry saying, "Open," and it works. Hermione uses a fang to stab Hufflepuff's cup. Another one gone.
Incredible thinking under pressure. But the battle, it takes casualties, major ones.
Devastating ones. Lupin, Tonks, and Fred Weasley.
Oh, Fred, that's brutal.
Killed in an explosion with Percy right there beside him, having just reconciled. Heartbreaking. But amidst that horror, there's also this moment. Ron and Hermione finally kiss.
Really? In the middle of all that?
Yeah. After Ron shows concern for the house elves. It's this brief, intense spark of life and love against the backdrop of death.
Then comes perhaps the biggest turning point, Snape's death and his memories.
Voldemort kills Snape, thinking it will make him master of the Elder Wand. Snape is dying. He gives Harry his memories. Take them. Look at me.
Harry looks into his eyes, Lily's eyes.
Yes, and then Harry takes the memories to the pensive. And everything changes.
What does he see? The big secrets?
He sees Snape's entire life, driven by his deep, unwavering, unrequited love for Harry's mother, Lily.
Since childhood.
Since childhood. That love made him turn spy for Dumbledore, made him protect Harry despite his resentment of James. He did it all for Lily, always.
Wow, that reframes Snape completely.
Utterly. And the memories reveal more. The Silverdoe Patronus, that was Snape's,
Yeah.
same as Lily's, guiding Harry.
Unbelievable, and Dumbledore's final plan.
The devastating truth. Dumbledore knew all along. Harry himself is a Horcrux. Part of Voldemort's soul latched on to him the night his parents died.
So for Voldemort to be truly defeated,
Harry has to die at Voldemort's hand. Dumbledore raised him, essentially like a pig for slaughter.
that's a crushing weight. How can Dumbledore justify that?
The memory showed Dumbledore's calculation, but also his care for Harry. It's incredibly complex, morally gray.
And the Elder Wand, the memories clarify its allegiance too.
Yes, Snape wasn't its master, because killing Dumbledore was prearranged. Its allegiance passed when Dumbledore was disarmed earlier by Draco Malfoy.
So Draco was the master.
Briefly, until Harry disarmed Draco at Malfoy Manor, winning the allegiance of Draco's wand, and, unknowingly, the Elder Wand itself.
So Harry's the Elder Wand's true master, and Voldemort has no idea?
None. This complex chain of ownership is key.
Armed with this agonizing knowledge that he has to die, Snape's true nature, the wand's allegiance, what does Harry do?
He accepts his fate. He decides to walk willingly into the Forbidden Forest to face Voldemort, to sacrifice himself.
Does he tell Ron and Hermione?
No, he goes alone. But first, he finally figures out the snitch. I open at the close.
At the close of his life.
Exactly. He whispers it, the snitch opens, and inside is the resurrection stone.
The second Hallow.
He uses it, not to avoid death, but to find strength. The spectral forms of his parents, Sirius, and Lupin appear.
To walk with him.
To give him comfort, courage. They tell him they're proud of him. It's incredibly moving. He drops the stone before reaching Voldemort.
And then?
He lets Voldemort hit him with the killing curse. Avada Kedavra.
And the Horcrux inside him is destroyed.
Yes. But Harry doesn't exactly die. He finds himself somewhere else.
The limbo place. King's Cross.
Looks like King's Cross Station, all white and clean, and Dumbledore's there.
Dumbledore. So Harry gets to confront him about the plan.
He does. And Dumbledore confesses. His past arrogance, his youthful obsession with the Hallows alongside Grindelwald, the lust for power.
Which led to Ariana's death.
Yes. He expresses profound remorse, He admits his mistakes, his manipulations of Harry, and asks for forgiveness. Tells Harry he's the better man.
Does he explain why Harry survived the killing curse this time?
Yes. Voldemort rebuilding his body using Harry's blood tethered Harry to life. Voldemort could kill the Horcrux part of Harry, but not Harry himself while Voldemort lived. And Dumbledore clarifies the Elder Wand's allegiance will protect Harry now.
And Harry gets a choice, to move on or go back.
He chooses to go back, to finish the fight.
So he returns to the battle, pretending to be dead initially.
Yes, carried back by Hagrid in a mock triumph for Voldemort, but then chaos erupts again.
Neville stands up to Voldemort.
In an incredible act of defiance, Voldemort tries to force the Sorting Hat on him, set it on fire. But Neville pulls Gryffindor's sword out of the hat.
The sword, just when they need it most.
And he uses it to kill Nagini, the snake, the final Horcrux.
Yes, destroying the last anchor for Voldemort's soul.
Exactly. Which leaves only Voldemort himself, the final duel.
Harry versus Voldemort, master of the Elder Wand versus someone who thinks he is.
It's brief, but decisive. Harry reveals the truth about Snape, about the wand's allegiance. Voldemort fires the killing curse. Harry uses Expelliarmus.
And the Elder Wand won't kill its true master.
It refuses. The curse rebounds, just like it did all those years ago. And Voldemort is gone. Falls with a mundane finality.
It's just dead. No magic, no fanfare.
Just gone.
So after all that chaos, the aftermath in the Great Hall, what's the feeling?
Exhaustion.
Yeah.
Grief, but also unity. Survivors together, Slytherins too, House Divisions forgotten for a moment. Just relief and sorrow mixed together.
And Harry, what does he do with the Hallows? He possesses all three at that point, doesn't he?
Technically, yes. The cloak, the stone, though dropped, and mastery of the wand. He could be the master of death.
But he rejects it.
Completely. He uses the Elder Wand just once to repair his own broken holly and phoenix feather wand.
His original wand.
Yeah. Then he decides to return the Elder Wand to Dumbledore's tomb. Let its power die with him when Harry eventually dies naturally. He doesn't want it.
And the Resurrection Stone.
Left lost in the forest. He doesn't seek it again. He keeps only the cloak, the family heirloom. That final choice says so much. True strength isn't about conquering death or ultimate power.
It's about humility, accepting limitations.
Exactly. Embracing love, sacrifice, connection. Being master of death by accepting it, not trying to beat it.
And the ending, the epilogue, it jumps forward.
19 years later. A very simple, quiet scene at King's Cross again.
With Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny sending their own kids off to Hogwarts.
Yeah, and the very last line is powerful in its simplicity.
The scar had not pained Harry for 19 years. All was well.
Just peace. An end to the conflict, not just externally, but internally for Harry. A profound, lasting peace.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive that was. From that desperate hunt for answers, the Horcruxes, the Hallows, to this huge battle for the soul of their world.
Yeah.
We've really seen how courage, loyalty, those unexpected, often painful truths, how they shaped everyone's destiny.
It really is a testament to the power of knowledge, like you said, even when it hurts.
Yeah.
And connecting it maybe to the bigger picture. It makes you think, doesn't it? When we face overwhelming darkness, personally or collectively, how much does really understanding the past, the integrity of our choices, our willingness to face uncomfortable truths, how much does that define our ability to find victory, or even just peace?
That's a great question. What stands out to you listening about that power of knowing, even when the knowledge itself feels like a heavy burden to carry? Makes you think.